Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. Thank you for stopping by and watching our previous video. This time, we're going to show you a list of anime which are similar to Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and ring the notification bell for my videos. Nothing hurts more when we are not needed and just thrown away like garbage. This is similar to what happens to the main character in the Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy anime. This 2021 summer anime is a fantasy adventure anime which is adapted from a Japanese fantasy light novel series written by Kei Azumi and illustrated by Mitsuaki Matsumoto. The story will revolve around a hero who is discarded due to having an ugly face. However, he keeps trying to show his ability to be able to survive in the world that has thrown him away. Here's a video list of anime which are similar to Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy you can watch in your leisure time. Happy watching! Number 5 is Chouyoyu High School Prodigies Have It Easy Even in Another World. The fifth list, there is a fantasy anime which is adapted from a Japanese light novel series written by Riku Misora and illustrated by Sakura Neko. Not only one character, this anime will feature 7 characters who will be mysteriously thrown into another world. The story begins with some people who survive a plane crash and find themselves in the medieval fantasy world of Freyaheart, where the group consists of 7 high school students well known internationally by their exceptional abilities. This makes them decide to use their skills to change everything. Number 4 is Arifureta from Commonplace, the World's Strongest. Betrayed by his own friend and left in the cold darkness to survive, this happens to the main character in this anime. Aired in summer 2019, Arifureta is an adventure action anime which is adapted from a Japanese light novel series written by Ryo Shirakume and illustrated by Takayaki. The story follows Hajime Nagumo when he is transported to another world with the rest of his class. However, an accident finally makes him realize that his seems unnecessary. When he's in desperation, Hajime meets Yue, a vampire girl who is imprisoned. This brings Hajime back to life and continues his adventures in another world, but now with a different group of friends who has ever betrayed him. Number 3 is Ixion Zaiga Dete. This fantasy comedy anime initially aired in fall 2012 based on the online game Ixion Zaiga by Capcom. The story begins with Kun Hokaze playing MMORPG when he receives a request from a female character in the game. However, different with the reality, Kun finds himself transported into the world of Mira, where he accidentally zaps a young princess in his first arrival. A comedy anime with some absurd things combined with strange characters makes this anime worth it to watch for you if you like comedy. Number 2 is The Rising of the Shield Hero. Adapted from a Japanese dark fantasy isekai light novel series written by Aneka Izaki, the anime premiered in winter 2019 with an adventure action as the main genre. The story begins with Naofumi Iwatani, a Japanese young man who is summoned into another world and asked to be a hero. However, what he got only a pain of betrayal from the princess who has slandered him. Thus, Naofumi travels alone and doesn't trust anyone in this fancy world. Number 1 is Konosuba God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. You must be familiar with this anime. Konosuba is an anime adapted from a Japanese light novel series written by Natsume Akatsuki. Premiered in winter 2016, the story begins with Kazuma Sato when he was dead and reincarnated in another world. However, what he imagines of a fancy world for this long as a big mistake in his life, including the useless goddess as his partner. Along with his useless friends, the story will follow Kazuma with his party members as they go on adventures that end in comedy. Well, that's all the list of anime which are similar to Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. Do you have any favorite ones on the list? If you do, let's know in the comment section below. Be sure to hit the like button and share this video as much as you can to your friends if you really enjoyed this. Thanks a lot for watching and see you next time.